So, good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have a former UAP courtside reporter, and now she's currently for many years already been in the PBA as a courtside reporter. So, I'll now welcome here to the DVD show, Apple David. Thank you for joining me here on the podcast.
Hi, Diego. Thank you very much for inviting me. So, looking
Yeah.
forward to this
Yeah,
discussion.
it's an exciting episode for sure, and learning more about your job and how you got to being a PBA courtside reporter and also your experiences. So yeah, to start things off, I'd want to ask first how are you? I mean, I saw that you were on TV reporting for Ginebra and Rainer Shine yesterday, and how has life been like for you with your work and also off work?
Well, since the conference just started, I I've just been working covering the games, and aside from that, since bare months na, there are a lot of hostings for like corporate events, for company events, and all that. So that's keeping me busy nowadays.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure. And starting the PBA conference now in the Commissioners Cup, it's the first time to have it in like a couple of years, and now there's even a guest team called the Bay Area Dragons. So how was that experience covering them, especially that I know some of them don't even speak English, and you were the one assigned ata nung first game nila.
Mhm. Yes, ako yung pinaka-sinuwerte na nabigyan ng first game. But yeah, you're right. It's both interesting and a huge challenge as well. Kasi nga, like what you mentioned, all the majority of the Chinese nationals, they do not speak English talaga. Although they have an interpreter na you
Mm-hmm.
can talk to or like help you out with the interview. But then there are also other players like Hayden Blankley, Glenn Yang,
Mm-hmm.
Duncan, yeah,
Reed,
uh,
Duncan Reed. Yeah.
Duncan Reed na
Yeah.
nagtatagalog, and
Mm. Oh,
they're
okay.
nagtatagalog, sorry, nag-i-English pala, baka
Ah,
mamaya
okay, okay.
akala ay nagtatagalog. Yeah, nag-i-English, and
Okay.
being a guest team, being new here in the Philippines, they're very excited. Kaya ang dami nilang kwento. They like being interviewed. They have a lot of stories to share. Um, and I just hope, I think I'm doing their game this Saturday, the next games. I don't know.
Mm.
But definitely I'll cover more of their game. So hopefully I get to talk to the Chinese nationals naman and see
Mm.
what they think about the PBA, their impressions of the local players and the competition here. So it's gonna be good to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, for sure. And what was your approach naman in talking to them nung first game? Like, did you want to talk to like Miles Powell first since he's the import, or did you want to talk to like the coach? Kasi yung coach nila, he's from Australia. He coaches the Australian national team, I think. And medyo madami siyang sinishare sa mga interviews niya that I see on like the game or Power and Play. Like, he has a lot of insights to share. So, what did you like want to know more about them? Especially since first game, you haven't seen them play on Philippine soil yet. So, yeah, what did you do?
Yeah, I actually talked to Coach Gorgin first,
Mm.
and asked him, well, if kasi they had a 9-0 record with their tune-up
Yeah.
games against collegiate and professional teams. So,
Yeah.
um, I asked him about that. Now, what does he think has been working for them to be able to get like a clean record or like unblemished record in the preseason, and just really know and try to understand what brand of basketball they want to show, they want to play, because they are relatively a new team also. Na parang a lot of players are coming from different backgrounds, different cultures, different countries. So and I think they were just together, or they've been together for a few months, for a couple of months, not
Yeah.
even like years
Mm.
together. So 'di ba, sila din,
Mm.
they are getting to know each other, um, parang ang almost the same time as we are getting introduced to them. Parang
Mm.
halos gano'n, halos gano'n. So,
Mm.
I just tried to have an idea and understand what yung style of play nila, and
Mm.
then their goals. Why did they participate in the PBA, things like that. And again, players to watch out for. I asked na lang the coach para mas madali for
Mm,
me.
okay.
And
Yeah.
from there, I interviewed na I think si Miles and then si Hayden and then Glenn. I think for the
Mm,
first
okay.
round, those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. It's really interesting to hear them nga because ayun, tama ka nga na madami silang share and they've been guesting on podcasts nga and I've been wanting to know more about them because it's the first time or like in a very long time na nagkaroon ng guest team na pwedeng manalo ng championship ulit sa PBA. So for you as a fan, I know that you like basketball then and from a fan's perspective, do you enjoy having like a guest team now para maiba naman as you mentioned nga iba yung style of play, iba yung upbringing din nila. So iba yung team din nila iba kasi they've only been together for a couple of months compared to the other pro teams here na they've been together na for years.
Yeah, for sure. Kasi number one, I like the fact that my guest team because I also know the good it can do for our club teams, for
Mm.
our own teams here. Because syempre, taller players, more
Mm.
like agile players. So parang it's new competition, it's a new challenge for them na yung akala nila other teams and other players are very familiar with it, less. I'm not saying they don't prepare or like less, but
Mm.
na parang um less scouting, less
Mm.
effort with a new team. Parang okay, I need to up my game because I'm not sure how they play. I'm not sure um how am I gonna carry out my game against these
Mm.
players. So I also like na somehow having a guest team is also a new challenge for the existing PBA teams. And again, with the new teams, new players, new reports, new stories, and we always
Mm.
want to know about those stories and be able to share it with the audience kasi yun naman talaga yung job description natin and
Yeah.
what we are asked to do na that. So it's I really like it. I hope it happens more often.
Mm.
Yeah. Sana meron from Korea.
Well, yeah, siguro naman. I mean, naman, as you know, the PBA players or like the UAP players, they've been going to the KBL. So why not also, sabihin nila, oh, kinukuha pala namin yung imports ng Philippines. We can bring a guest team here at the Philippines. So you never know in the next, 3 to 5 years maybe.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I wanted to insert this question lang because I was interested na yung Bay Area Dragons nga that you covered medyo tambak yung game nung first. And then yesterday when I watched you in the Hinebra Rain or Shine game, tambak din. So as a courtside reporter, is it tougher to actually come up with reports like pag second half na yan, alam mo na yung outcome ng game, like everyone's just wanting the match to wrap up already. So how is that different na pag close game?
Huh. The secret and the key to that, whether the game is a close one or like a blowout game, is to have a lot of baon na report. And when I say baon na report, reports are not always about the X and O's, the
Mm.
analysis of the game, what's being said on the huddles, on the timeouts. It's not always about that. The fans and the reports na mas gusto are the human interest stories. The things
Mm.
that happen in the daily lives of the players na may impact sa laro nila that you cannot see on the court but has a huge effect sa laro nila, like or an impact. Um like yesterday's game, Scotty Thompson changing his jersey number from 6 to jersey number 9. That is a story. Whether it's a
Yeah.
tambak game or a close game, that is a story
Yeah.
that is very much very much needed sa coverage kasi it's you just see it and then yeah, kailangan talaga kapag marami kang baon. Maybe we call it baon because
Mm.
anytime,
Yeah.
like it's timeless. You
Yeah.
can report it anytime and it's gonna be relevant because it's about the players
For
and the
sure.
coaches or the team, whatever.
Mm.
Like maybe a team bonding, they went bowling or whatsoever, the team, anything talaga
Mm.
na outside the X and O's of basketball, yun ang best friend ng kahit sinong reporter kapag tambakan. Kapag close game, swerte kasi you rarely get the chance to report kasi close game and you wouldn't want to break the momentum or
Ah,
miss any
okay.
action.
Yeah.
So, in our experience, pag close game, we, parang ano, it's okay. But sometimes we don't get to report in a quarter if it's
Okay.
really exciting and close. And that's okay. Like, that's beyond our control. That's for TV na yon.
Mm. Mm. Ano ba yung normally, role ng sa PBA? Kasi siyempre sa UAAP iba rin. There was a time na they report once a quarter. There was a time na pre-game and halftime lang and post-game ata. So sa PBA, like, do you guys need to report nga once a quarter? Or pag it also varies nga, depends on when they tell you because of the excitement of the game or yan nga, kung tambak.
Ideally, we need to report at least
Mm.
minimum once per quarter. We have a pregame report. Sometimes we do the halftime. Because so with the PBA halftime, kasi it's not usually analysis. Sometimes
Yeah.
you do halftime for features. You like lead
Mm-hmm.
in features, talk about things that's been happening around the league,
Mm-hmm.
interview a personality. Um, so that sometimes pag meron, we are asked to do that. Sometimes we don't do the halftime, but we
Mm-hmm.
always have a pregame report. And again, minimum ideally one report per quarter.
Okay, okay.
Pero
Yeah.
four ha, naabutan ko yung time na I think the most number of reports I was able to report in a game was 15 or 16 in one game.
Was that puro like ejections or injuries? Ano ba yun? Bakit
Not
madami?
not really, but before kasi, kunwari may nag-free throw na player.
Mhm.
You have a report about that player, ilalabas nila yon. Like,
Oh, okay.
kada player, hanggat may report ka, lalo human interest, they'll make you report it. But now kasi, um, we have a lot of platforms. We are shown on
Mm.
One Sports, on Smart Giga, on TV5. So, um, airtime is mahirap nang kumuha ng airtime ngayon. I guess
Yeah, yeah.
that's the thing. And the
Mm.
timing also and the coordination with the other platforms. I think that's one of the reasons why less na yung reports.
Okay, now I understand also, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing you more now in the current conference that I've been watching now, the PBA more and more. But then for the next part of the interview, I usually ask my guests about their upbringing and childhood and how they grew up and how they fell in love with like either their passion in the sport or passion with being in the sports media world. So for you, I heard also from Denise Stan when I had her on the podcast that you're a huge sports fan, a huge basketball fan ever since you were a kid. So maybe you could talk about your passion for sports and how that started, or if you had other interests initially, and also your passion for being a courtside reporter or in the media world.
Okay. Very ironically, I played volleyball, competitive ng high school. I was teammates with
Oh,
Michelle
okay.
Tumabaw ng
Yeah.
high school, yeah. But then, I didn't really pursue volleyball. And
Mm.
then, like, I had the PBA idol. It started from there, and that was Jayjay Helterbrand. I'm very much open about that.
Me
Ginebra,
also.
yeah. So Ginebra days
Yeah.
niya, I was a huge
Mm.
fan, and he got me to watch the games more. Parang I
Mm.
wanted to see him play. I wanted to see his team win. Mga ganun
Mm.
talaga. And then, um, I'm able to watch more and more games, the more initially it's just the player that I wanted to watch. I didn't even understand. Like, I just know na basketball, you have to shoot the
Yeah.
ball, 5 versus 5, like the very basic. But
Yeah.
I have no, like, I don't know how to analyze the game. I don't know
Mm,
what's the referee call, the referees, the calls. I'm not very
yeah.
familiar. It was just a player until
Mm,
I started to understand the game, appreciate the game itself, and then yeah, just followed it. And then eventually, when I got in college, my course was com arts pa noon, Miriam College. Nag-match na lang na parang okay into basketball, and then there was an opportunity to audition for the UAAP. So I tried that out. Even I'm from Miriam, so I didn't think I had a chance because I wasn't far up. I wasn't in any university, but I guess sabi ko nga maybe it was fate.
mm.
I got in and had that UAP stint that led me to the PBA courtside reporting job. So it's really a passion. Like until now, I always say it na I feel like I still have the same passion, the same enthusiasm, and like I'm always excited. Almost always excited, except if I'm
Almost.
I'm really tired and not in the mood, but that's very rare. But really,
Mm,
I'm still really, kahit kilala ko na yung players, ilang taon na kami
oo.
magkausap ng players. This is my
Mm,
8th year in the PBA. But
mm.
alam mo yon, you'll be surprised and amazed how there's still a lot of stories to tell. There's still a
Yeah.
lot to learn about basketball, and it just does not stop.
Yeah, for sure. Sa sports talaga merong bagong nangyayari. I mean, if you follow like spin, tiebreaker, one sports in like social media, tas naka-on yung Twitter notifications. Every day there's something new that's gonna come out, and there's something to delve deeper on and expound more when you talk to these coaches or trainer or like basketball player talaga. So yeah, it's fun to be part of the PBA world for sure. But I wanted to ask you more about the UAAP venture that you had first, because now when I applied for UAP correspondent, it says there that you really need to be part of the UAP school. So before, when you applied, is it really open to anyone, and then maybe everyone has an equal chance of applying and making it to the job?
To be honest, I wasn't really sure about the qualifications. I was
Yeah,
just asked if I was interested. Wala naman daw mawawala if I pass like my resume, and bahala na if I
yeah.
get like called for auditions or something like that.
Mm.
So I did. And then like first audition, then I got a call back, and then okay, and then parang up I think I'm like moving further and deeper to the auditions until one day I was just said, okay, you'll be assigned to Adamson. Kasi
Mm.
wala yata that time na natanggap from Adamson. So I was
Mm.
assigned to Adamson.
Mm. Okay,
But
okay.
I wasn't the first. Kasi I remember back then, Andy Manzano reported for
Oh.
FQ, but she was from Miriam as well.
Ah,
So
okay,
she
okay.
wasn't the first. So I guess
Mm.
um it's ideally they'll get courtside from the universities, pero kung wala and may deserving, why not?
Yeah, I would agree with that, because I don't know, sometimes nga it's hard to get from the eight schools lang, kasi yun nga, meron namang mga ibang schools na walang UAAP team, or yung school nila hindi nagko-compete sa any sport sa UAAP, pero may talent naman. So yeah, it's great to try them out. Pero with that, being a UAP courtside reporter, and you know naman for sure that there are issues also that people would say, why don't you make a UE, the UE applicants report for UE and yeah, Adamson, etc. Palagi na lang kukuha kayo dun sa top school. So for you, what would you say, or like what's your sentiment on people who complain? Because sometimes they feel that ano daw, parang discrimination, or like you favor like Ateneo since they're good in English or something like that. So yeah, that's what I see now with a new list, because there are around like 4 or 5 now from Ateneo.
Um, I would like to think na that says a lot about the quality also of students and the talent
Mm.
there there is sa
Mhm.
Ateneo. Not that we
Mm.
want to discriminate or like put a certain image to certain universities or schools, but wala tayong magagawa eh. It's just that
Mm.
there is a certain criteria, there's a certain standard
Mhm.
that you need to reach, pass, have,
Mhm.
to be able to be considered as one of the reporters. It's there are a lot of things now we cannot. It's hard to understand. We
Yeah.
can lot of opinions about
Mm.
different things, but the reality is meron talagang requirements, meron talagang standards, and wala, yun lang. Ano talaga, eh, like, life is unfair. Yun
Yeah.
talaga, life is unfair, we have to deal with it.
Mhm.
I don't think na parang fini-favor talaga yung Ateneo. It's
Mm.
just that maraming talents siguro sa batch na nag-audition na 'to, maraming magagaling talaga, sobrang magaling from Ateneo. Kasi I
Mhm.
doubt kunwari may magaling from Adamson, I doubt
Mm.
na hindi yun tatanggapin. For sure
Yeah.
tatanggapin yun. Nagkataon lang na mas
Mm.
maraming magaling. Kumbaga kung
Mm.
may top 100, the top 10 talaga, kunwari lang is
Mm.
nagkataon from Ateneo. Just like in any exam, bar exam,
Exam, yeah.
licensure exam, um,
Mm.
paano 'pag yung top 5 is just from one university, yun ibig
Yeah.
sabihin yun, eh, yun yung caliber
Mm.
nila, yun yung talent nila, yun yung knowledge nila. Kasi sa batch
Mm.
namin, I think, um, multiple courtside naman were from UP.
Ah, okay, okay. Mm.
So, yeah. So, that's what
It's
I
really
think
like
about,
that.
may
Yeah.
masasabi ang lahat ng tao. We can never please everybody, but it is what it is.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. I just saw that comment, and I mean, I saw some of them, and syempre, I didn't hear their auditions, nga, but then they looked like they had potential, naman, with the way they speak and the way they try to articulate themselves. So I wouldn't like say na mali na bakit puro from Ateneo kinuha or something.
Hmm, one
Yeah.
more thing, eto, I wanna, um, paano ba? Ako kasi I'm a very frank, realistic
Mm.
person. Um, Aside of course from the skills, the talent, the being fluent in English and all that, um, we also have to acknowledge, understand, and accept. Now, the courtside reporters are going to be on TV, so looks is
Yeah.
definitely one of the criteria as well. We
Yeah.
cannot deny that.
Yeah.
Definitely not deny that. Siguro if this is kunwari 100% ang criteria, looks is gonna get what? 30, 40, a huge
For
chunk
sure.
of the criteria. So
Yeah.
that's another factor.
Yeah, that's really I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say bad things about the others, but then, yeah, it's really a factor as well. Like, pati yung mga artista for sure. I mean, alam naman rin nila yun na yung sumisikat na artista, di ba? Like, whether guy or girl, like, may itsura talaga sila eh. So, yeah, it's really like that in that specific industry at least. So, yeah, moving on to your stint with Adamson, I wanted to ask now, was it basketball and volleyball now, or basketball pa lang during your time?
Basketball and volleyball na since hindi sabay eh. It didn't happen
Mm.
simultaneously. So the first paano ba? Parang the first quarter or like the first
First
half.
sem?
First sem,
First,
yeah, first
yeah,
sem
yeah.
basketball and then second sem was volleyball.
Oh, okay, okay. At least volleyball was already televised. Because there was a time na volleyball wasn't like, they televised some games, but then like yung mga Final Four finals. Pero there was a time na hindi pa nila yata tinetelevize lahat ng games. Or, yeah, and that's what I remember when I was younger. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but then being a courtside reporter in Adamson and studying in Miriam, what was your like approach in getting reports and learning about the practices and the stories of these players, especially because you're from Miriam and then you need to go to San Marcelino, and these players, you don't know them personally, I think, because you're from the QC. So how was that like for you?
Well, I was very lucky na si Coach Leo was the coach back then, and Coach Leo
Mm.
Austria lives in Quezon City near on the way my house. So every time I'm gonna go to San Marcelino to Adamson, I ride with him. And then during that ride, ang dami na naming napag-uusapan. So he was like really
Oh,
my
okay.
he was a father figure to me until now. He's in the PBA.
Mm.
Iba yung bond namin ni Coach Leo. Like I get a lot of um interesting stories from him
Mm.
with San Miguel. But yeah, the players like I was introduced to the players na parang okay, she's gonna be our courtside reporter, and they were all friendly, they were welcoming. And I think it's also an advantage na when I became courtside for a long time, Adamson had male reporters for a long time.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, Aaron Atayde lang yung naalala ko. I don't know
Um,
about the other.
Aaron, Job, Nico,
Oh.
Ramos, sunod-sunod
Oh.
sila na male. And then biglang, okay, it's a female courtside reporter. So everyone was excited. Let's
Yeah.
acknowledge that fact. Everyone was excited. Everyone wants
Yeah.
to be interviewed. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to be friendly. So
Mm.
parang that worked to my advantage na madali silang makausap at lahat sila gusto magpa-interview. And they were really,
Mhm.
really nice. Um, yeah, so it wasn't difficult. It wasn't really I was so lucky. Sobrang feeling ko sobrang sinuwerte ko rin talaga na sa team na nabigay sa akin.
Okay, okay. That's really
Sinuwerte
great,
yung team namin because I think we only had 3 wins, 2 or 3 wins that season. But yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. Was your batch like the batch of Jericho Cruz? Was that the batch of
Jericho
Adamson?
was a rookie. It was
Oh, okay.
Jericho, Camson, Nuiles, um,
Lester Alvarez, I think.
Montecarlo. No. I came in after, right after Lester
After
Alvarez.
Lester Alvarez?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So, I don't remember that Adamson team. I remember that team with Lester Alvarez kasi
So
sila
they
yung
made it to
nanggugulo.
the yeah, sila yeah, I think they had a good stint. So yeah, our season was close to forgettable kasi nga we only had like wins four.
Mm. Yeah, but then you were only a courtside for Adamson for one season.
Yeah, for one season
Oh.
lang, and then we were made to cover other leagues like PCCL, Philippine Champions League, wherein we
Oh,
covered
okay.
different teams. Now we got assigned to like University of Cebu.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's when I actually got an experience na okay, I'm handling different teams, I'm handling different personalities. Ito na iba-iba na. So it got more challenging. So um coming into the PBA na iba-iba, you're not just assigned to one team na mas madali
Mm.
kasi one team. Ano na
Mm.
somehow na-train and na-prepare din ako to be in that kind of like situation.
Okay. So for you nga, since nasanay ka na Adamson muna nung una, bago ka ma-assign sa ibang mga schools or teams, how did you adjust personally with how you would approach like the players or how you would deliver a report? What were the adjustments you did? And especially you were not as like experienced as you are now in the PBA na parang kayang-kaya mo na kahit 13 teams yan. But nung time na yun, I think you were still like in college or pag-graduate ka pa lang. So how was that adjustment period like for you?
From college to PBA
To
or
the
college
PGCL and then also
yeah.
yeah.
Um, it's really preparation.
Mm.
Before game day, you read about who the teams are covering, what teams, who the players are, ano yung performance nila the past game. It's really the preparation is key talaga. Yun talaga.
Mm.
And that's gonna
Mm.
make you confident about the questions you're gonna ask, about the knowledge you have, about the players you wanna talk to. So that's gonna help you a lot. Kasi coming into a game na parang, sino sila, nasaan, si ganto, yung si gantong pangalan, asang jersey number siya. So, di ba, you skip all those uncertainties and confusion. So you come in, you're prepared, you feel better talaga. It helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about transitioning to volleyball? I forgot to ask you since you said you covered volleyball also. Was that what would you say better for you since you said that you were a player already in earlier days? Because I'm not sure volleyball wasn't as popular yata nung time na yun compared to it is now.
Yeah, definitely so much easier kasi nga I played, so I'm familiar with the terms, with the rules, with
Mm-hmm.
how it goes. And at the same time, I'm I'm from an all girls school since elementary kasi. So dealing with girls, I feel more comfortable. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like very much in my comfort zone. So it was easier talaga. It was
Mm-hmm.
easier to cover volleyball for me.
Yeah. Were you able to cover volleyball again? Any? I mean, I see you in the PBA, but were you able to ever cover volleyball for Signal or TV5 after that?
For the PSL, we did. Actually, I was already right before the pandemic happened. I was already paano ba, promoted. I was
Mm.
already anchoring the games sa PSL. So I wasn't doing
Oh.
courtside. I was doing courtside, but then I was getting assignments as an anchor already. I'm partners now with Denise in some games. Analyst siya, anchor ako. So already got to that point, but unfortunately, the pandemic happened. A lot of changes with Signal, with ABS-CBN, and all that. So now it's just PBA
I don't remember that. How many games were you able to cover that time? Or
conferences.
naka-schedule? Huh?
Conferences, yeah, for multiple conferences.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. Maybe I just didn't watch PSL a lot that time
Yeah,
kasi
yeah.
yeah,
Maybe you're
maybe.
watching more of the UAPs, the PVL, the shape.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But we did that for I did that for some time also before the.
Oh, okay, okay. How about for PVL now? I mean, you never know. I mean, you're still in the PBA now, so you're still open to covering since PVL now is with TV5 and Signal. So you never know. You could do that in the future.
I mean, I'd be happy to get that opportunity and show that I can actually anchor games,
Mm,
be courtside reporter for those games. But then it's not as easy as it looks because Signal is a different coverage, different platform versus
mm,
TV5, and we are basically TV5 talents. Because
okay.
TV5 talent doesn't mean you're a Signal talent as well. So
Okay.
pool of talent. So that's, and again with ABS-CBN, so medyo I don't understand anymore. I'm just accepting whatever assignment I'm given.
Ah, okay, okay. But then, do you still like prefer courtside? I mean, you posted like the other time, or was it today or yesterday? Na you've been covering for 10 years, I believe. Do you still prefer courtside over anchoring? And yeah,
Ah, anchoring for eventually for PBA for basketball or for like volleyball.
anchoring, yeah, for any sport like basketball or volleyball. Do you enjoy anchoring or do you enjoy courtside? Like, what do you see are like the pros and cons, or yeah, what do you see as the what do you enjoy more?
Um, well, I haven't tried anchoring for basketball, so I don't know how that feels. But I feel like with my experience anchoring for a volleyball game, well, courtside must relax. Like
Mm,
when you're anchoring a game, you're almost nonstop talking play by play. You have to like ikaw magtatahe everything that's happening, the coordination
mm,
between the analysts, the play, the game, and then the court side. You have to incorporate the court side. Parang mas demanding yung work ng anchor, and you can't have a lot of dead air. You have to
mm,
be talkative, and you have to
mm.
really understand, be focused with the game versus courtside na you have a lot of time waiting during the game. You just wait. You did everything now. You had your interviews, you had your preparation, you have your reports
Mhm,
ready. You're basically just watching the game,
mhm,
look if anything is happening, if there's something interesting that you can still report about. But other than that, you're just waiting for your report to like, okay, sige, go. You no, queue for that report. So there's a lot of um I guess ano ba? I don't want to say chill, relax time, but
yeah,
there's more
yeah.
downtime
Yeah.
being a courtside reporter versus being an anchor. But it
Oh.
should be interesting. Like I would want to try and be the one to say na okay, it's for me, or okay, courtside na lang.
Okay, okay. But how about with covering basketball games? I mean, you'd know that being an anchor and an analyst in a basketball game, it's usually like a guy, like even in the US or here locally. But then recently in the UAP, I think they welcomed like Bea Diaz Fabros to the panel. And in the NBA, I know that you'd know that sila Doris Burke, they're like an analyst, and these other individuals as well. So would you say that the PBA or like these male dominated sports could possibly have like female people on the panel?
For sure, oo naman. If there's someone who
Mm.
is deserving, I don't see any reason kung bakit hindi nila iti-try. It's just that,
Mm.
like you mentioned, Bea Daes, Doris Burke, common, something in common sa kanilang dalawa is that they were both former basketball players as well.
Mhm.
So they are very knowledgeable about
Mhm.
basketball. Iba din kasi if you're a reporter, like reporting about the game, about the players, versus um, the knowledge also and the insights of someone who actually played the game. 'Di ba?
Mm.
Good. Sabihin na natin, magaling din sa game na yon. So, very different din kasi yung approach nun. Very different yung nakikita nila sa nakikita ng reporter. So, but if there's someone who is very much deserving, I think the PBA, the TV5 will be very open to that. It's just that ngayon, sino
Mm.
ba ang pwede? Parang wala rin
Yeah.
naman ako iisip pa.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yeah. That's
Also because we
really
don't have a professional basketball league for women.
women. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I understand that true. I understand that too. But then, yeah, you mentioned a lot about the PBA, and I wanted to know also, since you've been there for 8 years already. I wanted to know how it opened up an opportunity for you. I mean, but the UAPs like in ABS-CBN, and then now you were applying for TV5. So right after you graduated from Miriam, did you have already that confidence and you wanted that passion to be in media already for your job?
Kung meron mang isang bagay na meron ako, that is confidence. I think confidence, ang layo na nung narating ko with confidence. Well, with confidence backed up by preparation, of course. Then,
Mm,
yun pa rin naman. Walang mapupuntahan yung confidence mo kung you don't have anything to back it up din naman, di ba?
yeah.
But I I was ako kasi I was always a fighter, very competitive. So I always wanted to prove myself na kaya ko, na not to
Mm,
anyone else, but to myself na
yeah.
this challenge, kaya ko to. Like I'm gonna prove
Mm,
myself. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be able to to see na
mm,
kaya ko nga. So it's really more of that me being competitive and when I like have a goal, I really do, I make sure I get that goal. Parang
mm.
ganun ako eh. So, I didn't really doubt myself that much. Hindi na parang ang arrogant na,
Yeah.
gano'n. The
Mm,
reason why I am confident again, kasi nga, I like, I prepared myself well. I practiced. I did everything I could to be confident. And
mm.
lumabas lang din talaga yon and nakita ng mga tao and then I was given the opportunity and made the most out of it. And that's why I am here and I am still here.
Yeah. So yeah, the PBA, as you know, is one of the most prominent leagues, and it's great that you've been there. It's been there. I mean, you're gonna be there, I think, for a really long time, pa. And I wanted to know, like, how did you start being in the PBA? I mean, in the PCCL and in the UAP, you would talk to collegiate athletes, and then here you would talk to Hall of Fame players like legends. I mean, in the PBA, and how was the first like few games for you when you were there in the PBA? Like, did you already see like you do something similar to the UAP? Were you like nangangapa ka ba kung ano pang ibang gagawin for the PBA since ibang league na? How was your approach in the first few games?
I was very fortunate na the courtside reporters that I shadowed was really Erica Padilla. Na I shadowed her
Mm.
for like 2, 3 games, and
Mm.
she was very helpful. Like she showed me the way she introduced me to the teams. Na parang, oh, coach, this is Apple. She's observing.
Mm.
She's trying to support side reporter in the PBA. Parang ganon. So, when I finally got the chance, parang the players, the coaches, the teams are familiar na. And at the same time, I know how it works na dahil nga, I really paid attention to what Erica did. And I asked her a lot of questions then that I needed to know, I wanted to know. And again, that helped me.
Mm, yeah, that's great. That I mean, Eric Padilla, she's not covering now anymore. But then before, when she was in the games, like you'd also hear a lot of great insights from her. But then, yeah, being there in the first few games of the PBA and finally getting your feet wet in the PBA, how would you say did you like grow in the PBA? Kasi syempre, alam mo rin na may mga bagong pumapasok na talent that they can get your spot anytime. So how did you continue your growth and your success at that level?
Ako, to be very honest, I am sometimes, a lot of times, hard on myself. I have very high
Mm,
standards when it comes to the reports I come up with. I know, like I know sa sarili ko if the report I just did, the report I just made is like meh. I
subpar,
feel
yeah.
bad about it, but I like
Yeah.
parang okay, I reported about it, but I don't really feel good about it. Um
Mm,
like if I have reports like that, I'm like, shucks, bawi ka next game. Like that's not
mm,
okay. Hindi pwedeng okay yung ganon. Like
mm,
hindi porket okay, I'm here in the PBA. I've got a couple of years in. I have any advantage whatsoever. Maybe advantage when it comes to just knowing how it goes and with the relationships built with the players, the coaches, the trust, all that. But until now, sobra yung ano ko, um, sobra pa rin yung standards ko sa sarili ko, sa reports ko. And at the same time, parang, what was it? I was supposed to say something, but yeah, um,
mm,
really, I think yun din eh. I'm tulad ng sabi ko kanina, I'm very frank and just really always real talk. Um,
mm,
myself is not an exemption. I'm also like that to myself. I'll tell myself if I didn't do a good job. I'm not gonna try to like, it's okay. No, okay lang yun. It was good.
mm,
No, hindi talaga ako ganon. I
mm,
know when my reports, when I had a bad day, I know when I also had a good reporting day, great, amazing,
mm,
ganon. Yun lang. I think that is also very important na you're honest sa sarili mo
mm,
din, the way you evaluate. Just so you know also, nasaan ka ba? Are you
mm,
improving? Are you plateauing? Are
mm,
you just winging it? Yun ang pinakamasama. You're just winging
mm,
it na, di ba? You're faking it. Na, parang, okay, just say something generic. Bahala na sila. Defense, offense. Yun na yun. Di ba?
oo,
And I also one of the things na parang okay, I think I'm really improving kasi when I was starting, it was the questions, of course, are wha- what are your preparations? What is your mindset? When I started not to ask those kinds of questions, that's when I'm like, okay, I
mm,
think really like I know na like kasi okay lang yan when you're starting, it's really that preparations,
mm,
mindset. But that question is very generic. All the players can say the same question answer. But then
mm,
when you start coming up with questions na parang, oh, very particular to this player lang, that's when you like, okay, that's good. Pero when you come to a game na parang, "Ooh, what do I ask this player? Tapos you don't get
mm,
the answer, that's when parang, medyo, baka nagsislack off ka, baka medyo petics ka. So, mga ganong bagay.
mm. Yeah, that's really a great way that you're also reviewing like your own reports and thinking about it on your own when after siguro the game when you're on the way home iniisip mo nga kung how you did. But then also interested, like, because yung mga courtside reporters, syempre, most of them are girls, and being in a PBA, syempre, madaming guys. So did it take long for you to develop like a great relationship with these players na kaya mo silang lapitan before the game's dug out, or after the game or something, or in the middle of the game? So how long did it take before na parang mas naging comfortable na sila with you in sharing information?
Not very, very long. Well, ako kasi, I'm only girl. I have two brothers. So, sanay
Okay.
ako being around men. Although, all girls school ako lagi.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Mm,
sanay ako like, sa, like, sa street, end of the street, I would play
mm,
basketball with boys. Like, there's a half court there. I'd play 21 horse, 5 or
mm.
3v3. I'd play against boys dito. So I wasn't really intimidated with boys at all.
Mm.
But then
Yeah.
dealing with personalities, yun yung challenge. Because, there are superstars. There are players, you have to deal with moods. Not all the time the players are
Yun,
like
yeah.
a good mood. So kailangan mo
Mm,
rin tanungin. You have to be sensitive. You need to like know what kind of approach you're gonna make. I think um but it's also good to note na these players, these coaches also know your job. Na
yeah.
okay, I'm a side reporter, I have a job to do. They understand your job as well.
Yeah.
So alam nila na um kailangan mo talagang mag-interview. Kailangan
Oo.
mo talagang gawin yung trabaho mo. They understand that. And that's good kasi they help you, 'di ba? Pwede naman they
Mm.
decline for whatever reason, but a lot of
Yeah.
majority
Mm,
of the players in the PBA, they also feel for us na
mm,
we're just doing our job, just like how they are doing their job, diba?
mm.
Whether we have a bad day or not, we have to do our job. So help me do my job. Parang
Yeah.
ganun lang naman.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but you really have to be confident. Because if you're shy, hindi naman lalapit yung players na, uy, do you want to interview me? Uy, you know
Mm.
what? I have some information for you.
Oo.
No.
Yeah.
So you have to be confident. You have to be
Mm.
confident, and you just really have to know how to carry yourself well. And again, be prepared. Just so you know who to interview. Hindi pwede yung andyan na, sino kaya? Sige, ikaw na lang interviewin kita. Ay, ikaw na interviewin kita. Coach, uh, um, mm, kasi
Mm.
their time is also valuable. They have to
Mm.
focus on the game. They
Mm.
have they have their own pre-game routine. So you also have to respect their time.
Mm.
So as much as possible, dapat quick interviews, straight to the
Mm.
point, and show them
Mm.
that you prepared. Kasi show them that you prepared for that interview because that's also a way to show respect sa kanila. Because
Mm.
if they feel na parang wala kang kwentang, hindi naman sa ganong walang kwenta,
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah, yeah.
If they
Yeah.
feel na parang niloloko mo lang sila or like you're just winging it, you're not 100% there and
Mm.
doing your job, mawawalan din sila ng gana to give you like really, really to like make
Mm.
an effort and explain everything to you, like tell you good insights, good chicas as we call it, like
Yeah.
yung mga ganon. So you really, really have to do a lot of work even before coming in the arena or the Coliseum. The work starts at home with your preparation.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. But then being there, and then gaining the trust of the players and the coaches. When was like the first time na you heard from them na parang you really did a great job with that report? They appreciated it, they admired what you did, and you felt really grateful about that report that you did. Like, was that in your first season? Like, how was it like for you?
Well, to tell you honestly, you'll be lucky if you get like comments like that. Like the teams will not really. You'll hear that from your directors, from your producers,
Mm.
from the coverage, from the production team. Because
Mm.
the players, the coaches, they don't hear naman what you report about them because they're in the game when they're
Mm.
playing. But sometimes they hear it when they have viewing sa practices, like minsan
Ayun, yeah.
nila some of the
Mm.
reports.
Mm.
But um, I wasn't really, yeah, you don't really hear it from the teams. Pero like I had a couple of with some of the teams. Um, parang I don't wanna name coaches or like teams, pero like an example would be like in halftime, we would go
Mm.
to the dugout. Paglabas ng players, we would talk to the assistant coach. 'Di ba, you'd ask, "Coach, what were the things that were talked about in the huddle, in the halftime huddle?" And then this coach would like, "Ikaw, ano sa tingin mong dapat namin gawin based on the first half of the play?"
Analysis, analyst.
Yeah. And
uh,
that's also the coach's way to like try to gauge how much do
mm,
you know, how much do you pay attention, how much do you watch, and how much you also like understand the game.
mm,
And then like dumadalas na nakakasagot doon and then like, oh, alam ko naman pala yung sagot eh. That's good. O kaya
mm,
like after saying things, they're like, okay, what did I say? Mga
yeah,
ganon.
yeah.
Then you're able to um um, answer, yun,
Mm,
like the coach were like, "Okay, good job." May mag-gano'n na. But just
okay.
imagine, like for the new ones, if you're like relatively new, being put on that spot na, ikaw, if I ask you, what would you tell me?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, you need to play better defense, mga ganun. Kailangan masabi mo yun.
Kapag ni-report mo na, sabi ni coach to play offense and better defense. Oh my gosh, baka last mo ng report yon. Because kahit
Yeah.
viewers, they would know you need to play defense and execute your offense.
Yeah. Everyone, I mean, even the most casual PBA fan would know that everyone needs to do that. So you need to say, laban, like, yeah, you need to say, like, what kind of
What does it mean to
defense.
play
Yeah.
better defense? ID
Yeah.
what? Be quick on the pick and rolls, be this
Yeah.
and that. So that's
Yeah.
what you have to report, but not the general
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But being a PBA courtside reporter or being in sports media, I'm pretty sure you'd know that people would say, like the traditionalists, they would say na you would, why don't you do get a corporate job or yung 9 to 5 job? And now with the shift, like in this generation, people have more jobs that aren't like, yeah, corporate or yung traditional like law, accounting, doctor, like yung mga normal courses in college. So how would you like share to the viewers like the shift in this generation that you could actually have a job like in media and it's stable, it's sustainable, like you'd be there long term rather than the others with having that perception na kailangan itong job kasi may pumapasok na sweldo ng ganito every month, ganun. So how yeah, how would you share it to the audience?
Um, well, based on my experience, this is my first and current job, being
Mm,
a courtside reporter, and um, I cannot complain.
mm,
It's not just being a courtside reporter and that's it. Like you have to hustle. Kailangan madiskarte ka. Like I do hostings, corporate hostings. I have other gigs. My work as a reporter, being on TV also opened like brand ambassadorships for me, endorsements and all that. Like you really have, it's like you also have to market yourself.
mm,
It can definitely be a career,
mm,
but it's gonna take a lot from you also. Like ano it's up to you also. What is enough for you? How much is
mm,
enough for you? Do you want
mm,
more? But you can definitely have a career in media. You can definitely have a career in sports media in particular. um, Kailangan lang talaga madiskarte ka. And again, it's
mm,
up like your goals as well, like your financial goals,
mm,
um your goals also when it comes to your personal growth and development, because you also have those kinds of goals. So um yeah, it
mhm.
depends, but you can like
Yeah.
right now, and lagi naman sinasabi, hindi naman lahat ng successful na tao may diploma. Hindi naman lahat
Mm,
ng successful na tao nagpumasa ng licensure exam, 'di ba? Maraming successful na tao madiskarte, maparaan, masipag, matiyaga, um,
mhm,
they have their own personality, like you have your own identity that makes you unique, makes you stand out. It's really about how you carry yourself, how you improve the talent, how you showcase your talent, and just really it's an overall, it's not just really the work. Ngayon kasi social media very powerful na yan. Everything, everyone is online. So
Mm.
you also have to like try to utilize that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how about you? Since yeah, you mentioned you have a lot of other things on the side rather than just being a PBA courtside reporter. So for you, what's your approach or like strategy in like accepting like these brand endorsements or these hosting gigs? Like, how do you plan it for like a week or like a month? Na, syempre ikaw na yung di-discarding ah. So how do you say na it's too much or too konti? I should strive to get more or try to get more. Like, how do you do it then?
I am a yes person. Like I just say yes to everything. Kahit minsan three work in one day, I
Mm.
just I have a problem saying no to
Oh.
people, to situations. Like in general in my
Mm.
life, I really have
Mm.
a hard time saying no or declining. So I just say yes to everything. Like I just grab
Mm.
every opportunity. I just try things and just really say not I don't I'm not choosy with
Mm.
like, but of course we have to discuss about compensation and all that, but as much as possible I just say yes to
Mm.
everything. How do you get that? How do you like get people to reach out to you to like get you for work? Again, your being on TV is part of your portfolio. Your the things you put on social media is part of your portfolio.
Mm.
The postings, the previous hostings, part of your portfolio. So you always have to do good. Kasi paano kung yun yung video na nasend sa kanila and that's the basis on
Mm.
whether or not to get you. And
Mm.
again, it's not just the talent, the work. It's also the attitude. Very, very important. If there's an advice I want to tell um upcoming reporters or anybody wants to be sa industry, media, sports, or kahit saan na lang in general, attitude is just as
Mm.
important. Nobody wants to work with someone who's hard to work with.
Yeah.
Super galing, wala kang magagawa. But again, attitude is very, very important. Players, coaches, they don't want to deal with attitudes na baka mas maere pa sa kanila.
Yeah.
um, So
Yeah.
you just have to know your place. You have to be likable. You have to be pleasant, and just be nice to to everybody. Just try to be real. Be nice. If you
Mm-hmm.
cannot be chummy chummy, if you cannot be friendly, just at least be nice and kind to people. Like just don't be
Mm.
bad. Don't talk bad about people. Just have
Mm.
be someone na gugustuhin mong makatrabaho.
Mm. Yeah.
That's gonna make you last long.
Yeah.
Aside from the talent.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Sometimes yung taong mas madami pang skills or talent sa'yo sa umpisa, I mean, if they don't have a great attitude naman, they really won't last in that job or the industry they applied in if they don't have the consistent attitude. But then I wanted to also ask, like you mentioned about like hosting gigs or like brands getting to you or like not only you, I mean, you know naman na other media personalities in sports also post on like their social media. So would you say na it also helped na like from this like year 2022 compared to like 2012 or like 2007 social media wasn't like this popular yet. Do you think it helped also that this job it opened up opportunities like that with brands that made it more, let's say, stabilizes it that you could be in this sports media industry compared to like 10-15 years ago?
Yeah, for sure na sobrang swerte ng generation na inabutan ko, mo,
Mm-mm.
at
Yeah.
ng mga younger generation because there are a
Yeah.
lot more opportunity to earn, number one, to
Mm.
earn, to express yourself, to
Mm.
reach out to people, to relate to people, to talk to people, to influence people, and to inform, educate. Like we live in a digital world. Andyan na eh. So, sobrang swerte lang talaga natin and the younger generations kasi um, parang there's a lot more power. Well, it goes both ways. Can be positive or negative. Like we hold
Mm.
a lot of power right now with just one click, sabi nga nila. Um,
Mm.
yeah, we hold a lot of power, and like sobrang yung opportunities endless talaga with the digital world. It's really
Mm.
how you utilize and maximize it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talked about social media, and not everything is usually positive. And I asked, like, I had a lot of courtside reporters recently, like Denise, Franny Reyes, also Ayana Perlas, and I asked them this question because I'm interested. Like now in this generation, then like people, I don't know, some people will like you'd know the stereotypical like perception of people on courtside reporters, nga, that they're just pretty, as you mentioned, like it's the looks and
hi Candy.
yeah,
My
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. Like those, like, I'm pretty sure you see it like on social media and everything, the general perception. So I wanted to ask, like, have you ever like experienced, yeah, people saying that to you, or even like yung mga bastos na jokes, or like they do stuff to you in the game or in social media, and how do you like deal with it, or and how do you think that could like be mitigated in this generation or this culture?
Ako kasi, I'm the type of person na wala talaga akong pakialam. I am not affected, at least negatively, by
Mm.
comments I see on social media. I am not affected at all. Kung maapektuhan man ako, I guess the positive way lang. But
Mm.
I don't make a big deal out of those. I'm not very sensitive when it comes to the comments I read, kahit may bashers. Pero swerte ako, konti lang naman ang mga like negatives na nababasa
Mm.
ko. Like the fans in general are very supportive, very protective din. Minsan
Mm.
sa social media ko, sa comment section, kapag may bastos, yung ibang fans ang nauunang nagtatanggol, and pagtutulungan na
Oh,
nila yung person na yon.
yeah.
I'm very grateful and fortunate to my followers, lalo on Facebook, na
Mm.
um they have this image of me na pinoprotektahan nila ako, na they feel like um hindi, like, I was able to present myself in a certain way na they feel they need to protect me, because I also do not and will not um do anything, post anything, get myself involved with any situation, issue, incident na parang bababa yung tingin nila sa akin, or they'll feel na okay, I think we can like objectify this person. I think, although in general it's very wrong to do that. Like dapat hindi yun ginagawa sa kahit sino. But at the
Mm.
same time, I also made the conscious effort to try to present myself in a way na they would respect me, they would appreciate me, and yeah, nandun yung mga bastos again, but mas marami by and outnumbered by a lot yung
Mm.
yung negative, the negative side. So, um, that is also another thing na masasuggest ko, lalo to the ladies, na you also have to watch out watch out with sa paraan na pagpe-present niyo na ng sarili niyo, 'di ba? Kasi
Mm.
minsan naman na, well, mahirap magsalita. Mahirap magsalita. Tayo ng
Yeah.
style din kasi, and like we have different things that we are comfortable with, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So basta ako lang, in general, I'm not really affected by anything. Like I don't, wala talaga. Like
Mm.
issues, comments, bashers, I don't. And the only comments that matter to me are the comments from my family, from my colleagues, from my bosses, from my superiors, from the
Mm.
players, from the people I work with. Other than that, unless, or kunwari, not colleague, but like an acquaintance na medyo nega, kung wala kang bilang, then I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah.
O medyo ganun ako eh. Like, and at the end of the day, again, sabi ko nga, mataas yung standards ko sa sarili ko. So I know when
Mm.
I'm not doing good. I know when I deserve to be bashed. I know din
Mm.
naman, may recognition sa sarili ko. So pag binash ako, or nagkamali ako on camera, and then I read on social media na, "Oh my God, ang tanga naman niya," or something like that, then I should expect that kasi nagkamali ako, eh. So, dapat
Yeah.
mauna pa ako. Like,
Mm.
I know what I did. I know the mistakes I made. So, ba't ako mag-iinarte? Ba't ako magpapaka-sensitive? Eh, hello, nagkamali ka, tanggapin mo 'yan. Pinili
Mm.
mong maging on TV, pinili mo yung trabaho mo. So, I think there's a need to have that recognition as well and just really being real to yourself as well. So, yun din, isa pa yun na kung alam mo nagkamali ka, tanggapin mo rin naman 'pag may nasabi yung
Yeah.
iba, 'di ba? Hindi
Mm.
naman puwedeng nagkamali ka, expect mo, "Ay, okey lang." You expect sugarcoating, you expect being comforted. Siyempre, okay, you wanna be comforted, but huwag mo sabihing okey lang na hindi naman okey. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't appreciate yung gano'n actually.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great approach that you have. I mean, some other people don't have that like attitude or that mentality with social media, lalo na pag sumobrang dami na or naipon na yung patience nila with the followers and fans. Pero ikaw, that's great that you have that mentality, and especially yeah, with the people, with the girls nga, and like yeah, the courtside reporters. I could sometimes see like how bad or like how terrible these comments can get, especially when yeah, when you mentioned like the photos they post or like the posts that they share, ganyan, people just exacerbate it to a whole different level. But yeah, changing it to like a lighter topic, I wanted to ask you because you know naman on pandemic everyone was like bored and there were like not a lot of stuff to consume on like the internet, and people came up with other content that they could have. And then you had your like YouTube channel. I remember that you prank called these PBA players and coaches, so I wanted to ask you about that and how did that come about, and how long or how was the process of actually coming up with that video, especially na naging trending ngayon sa social media noong 2020.
That was a spontaneous, it wasn't so hard kasi siyempre the players I chose to call were like the ones I was close to, like si James, sila Ryan,
Mm.
si Junmar, Coach
Mm.
Kaloy. Pinakamahirap lang dun was Commissioner Willie Marshall, sa totoo
Yeah.
lang.
Yeah.
Do some, yeah, like I'm friends with them na alam ko if it goes wrong, wala, pagtatawanan lang namin. 'Pag nag-fail, matatawa lang ako. But it was something talaga na nasa personality ko kasi na like I'm just bubbly, fun, jokester. So they also know me as gano'n.
Mm.
Kaya, I don't think ma-o-offend sila and yun nga, close ko naman sila. Si Commissioner mabait lang talaga si Commissioner, buti hindi talaga ako nawalan ng trabaho. At 'di ba, magpapautang, magbibigay pa siya.
Yeah.
So, um yeah, it was just fun. Siguro pandemic sila na-appreciate na lang din nila yung gano'n. They were in a bubble as well. So baka bored din sila. Nasa Clark
Mm.
bubble sila nun, eh. So siguro light moments like that, they also like appreciate it as well or like na-gets na
Mhm.
lang din nila na, okay, ano lang 'to, uso 'to, gano'n.
Yeah. That's funny that you came up with that concept because not any like YouTube personality could like do that. I mean, who would they call that people would actually care about? I mean, you called like yeah, June Mar James Yap. I mean, people would actually watch it because yeah, they're also popular in their own sense. But then yeah, yung PBA bubble you mentioned, were you in any of the like the bubble? I mean, the other ones were. Did you was that your personal decision of not being in the bubble and the pandemic rin ang tagal na walang sports media, so it's really tough.
No, I had to decline kasi being in the bubble means you have to stay there for almost 3 months, and I
Matagal,
had to work
oo.
outside. I had to work
Hmm.
outside. I was doing another show back then, and the scheduling will not allow me to stay in the bubble for that long. So I had to decline.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering also because yeah, I thought that you would be one of the people there invited to be in the
Well,
bubble.
I was invited to go. Like it was
Mm.
supposed to be me and Denise, I think. It was supposed to be
Okay.
me and Denise, but yun nga, like I had prior commitments. At that
Mm.
time, walang ano eh, it was very uncertain na ano na may games pa ba and all that. So I was not able to like reserve those months for the bubble kasi may
Mm.
nauna ng commitment.
Mm. So yeah, you talked about having like yeah other commitments, and like in the pandemic there were new. I think you even had like a podcast before nasa tiebreaker times. I'm not sure if you
Mm.
had. I think you had that na
E-games,
parang e-games,
esports,
yeah,
esports, yeah.
esports, and then yeah you also yeah started doing that, and you had like your Facebook page. I discovered na you interact with like the fans then there. So what would you say is like the future of sports media here in the Philippines? Because the pandemic like opened up shows like that na may e-games, may yeah, tiebreaker times had vodcast, and then others like mga 2OT. I know you guessed it there then. I mean, those might have not been possible kung never nagka-pandemic. So yeah, where would you see the trajectories going for media, like specifically here in the Philippines now?
Well, I feel like it's a good opportunity and a challenge also to traditional media having
Mm-mm.
another platform wherein there are a lot of shows na digital, 'di ba? Like even podcast na parang anybody can just come up with their show and just go online, have guests and all that. It's gonna be a challenge to the traditional media, but at the same time, it's a good opportunity, and I feel like since nga everything and everyone is online, maganda to try to really explore what else you can do online, what um like how you can um earn
Mm.
online with
Yeah.
these platforms.
Mm.
And um just really, I feel like if there's anything, yung creativity ng bawat tao ngayon, mas parang, okay, come on, anong pwede mong
Mm.
gawin, what's gonna make me stand out, na
Mm.
um, sobrang minimal cost. Kasi, if you wanna be on TV, if you wanna have a show, full production. If you wanna,
Mm.
kahit radio, kahit print,
Mm.
di ba? It's like,
Mm.
it costs a lot. But now, you
Mm.
don't need to have a huge capital to have your show, to start
Mm.
somewhere, to be seen by a lot of people, and to
Mm.
just like try to gain, like create a buzz and create a noise on social
Mm.
media until you get noticed. So, yun yung maganda dun. It's not it's not expensive, and you can do a lot. If
Mm.
nag-try ka, nag-fail, it's not gonna cost you a lot, 'di ba?
Mm.
So mas parang, okay, come on, what can we do? What else can we do? What more
Mm.
can we
Yeah.
do? And puwedeng hindi tayo ma-satisfy sa isa lang, sa dalawa lang, sa kung ano man, 'di ba? Hangga't may time
Mm.
ka, puwede at may
Mm.
interest ka.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun actually coming up with these new things. I mean, I'm also from the Lasallian, and then we, started to think of other topics or other angles or other ways to, have the audience to like have the, likes and, articles that we needed to have on social media because there were no like newspapers during the pandemic. So yeah, and the podcast also. I mean, I don't really listen to podcasts pre-pandemic, but then I watch TV shows, sports TV shows at least. But then now podcasts, parang every day I'm listening to either local or international podcasts about basketball or mga baseball, volleyball. So yeah, it's really a great evolution of media. But then I wanted to also ask you. I mean, you've been in the PBA as your first job, as you said. So what would you say is like your short term and long term goals, whether it's like in sports media per se or even in your other ventures outside?
Career-wise?
Yeah, career wise. Yeah.
Career-wise, well, kasi what's next after being a courtside reporter, 'di ba? We can only be courtside reporters up to a certain age, I guess, time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'd wanna, if I am to choose, I wanna get into news reporting,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
newscasting,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe no, hanggang dun. And
Mm-hmm.
then settle down. Yun na talaga
Yeah.
yun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just be present na lang on social media. Like explore things I can do on social media. Baka ganon. Aside from, of course, you want to invest, yung business side and all that. But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to on TV, I think I just wanna try if I am also suited to be in the news.
Okay, yeah, that's a great thing also to try out. I mean, for me also like sports lang talaga. Like I only watch sports or like write about sports or yeah, talk about sports in the podcast. But news is also something great to venture into sometime in the future. That's for sure. But yeah, before we wrap up, Apple, I just wanted to ask like these couple of questions. I ask my guests also and get your sentiments on it. So yeah, this one question is: I know that you know that in the NBA bubble, the players were more vocal with the social and political issues. That's where it started. So hanggang ngayon, pag may nangyayari na ayaw nila sa bansa nila, like they're not afraid to speak about it, whether in their interviews or in social media, so that it would educate like the people and their followers then on the certain issues na social or political. And here in the Philippines, you'd know na yung mga taos dito mas shy, mas timid. Pero nung past few years nung pandemic, pag may social or political issue na nangyayari na hindi sila agree, mas vocal na sila and they're willing to share their thoughts about it. So ikaw as a sports personality nga, what would you say is like your thoughts on sports personalities, athletes, coaches, like expressing their thoughts also? Because as you know, there are some journalists that would say na you should only play your sport or you don't talk about these issues because maybe yeah you're an athlete lang or you're a courtside reporter lang or a coach lang. So what's your thoughts on that?
For me, let's drop all the honorifics. Let's drop the profession that we hold. At the end of the day, we are humans. We are thinking humans. We have our emotions. We have something to say. We feel a certain way about certain things. And I don't think any job description, any title should hinder you from expressing how you feel and what you think about certain situations or issues. Ako, yun yung akin. Why do we even have to like point out, oh, ito yung trabaho mo, dapat yan lang. Why do we even have to do that? Again, we are all emotional thinking people, and you cannot expect basketball players not to be affected about something that's also affecting their life as a human. Kunwari,
Mm-mm.
politics.
Mm-mm.
They are Filipinos. They're part of this country. They're citizens of this country. So, pag basketball player ka ba, hindi ka apektado ng ekonomiya?
Yeah,
'Di
yeah,
ba? Parang,
yeah.
why do we even have to point out our jobs?
Mm.
So, I don't see any relevance. I don't see any sense or point in like saying na, okay, this is your job, ito lang gawin mo.
Mm.
Because again, at the end of the day, we are all thinking and emotional. We feel, it's normal for us to feel a certain way. So that itself is a reason or like a justification for speaking up or doing certain things, or kung meron ka mang like mag-rally ka, or like you don't
Mm.
show up in the game, you don't do this, don't do that, as a sign of um you opposing to something. Go. Why not? Why do you have to feel limited? Again, punta tayo sa bottom line. Reality is, lahat tayo tao, may puso. May puso
Mm.
tayo at may utak tayo. So, um yeah, yun lang. But it's always an option to just shut up and not say anything. Pero just um you have that option as much as you also have the option to say and do something. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I mean, it's great. It's great to see that the athletes that are knowledgeable or that they're willing to educate their followers and have a platform to amplify their voice. It's great to actually, yeah, hear their sentiments and read about it as well. So yeah, that's a great step forward for the country. So yeah, the next question is just a chill or a fun question. If you had the opportunity to have dinner with five people, dead or alive, who would you invite?
um for sure, si Doris Burke,
Okay, yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm, ang hirap naman. Hindi ako ano, eh, hindi ako mahilig I know na. 5? Okay, fine. I'll go with Doris Burke, with Kobe Bryant, because I
Is it
learned a lot.
K-pop?
Yun na nga sasabihin ko, ba't tatlo na lang yung mapipili ko? So, I'll go with Cook, V, and Jin.
I don't know much about K-pop, but then I have guests that actually just say like, "Oh, pwede ba like isang group, isang tao?" I mean like five, 'di ba? Like isang
Yeah,
group
so
lang.
those two and yung three members ng BTS.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that you were gonna say the BTS. But for the final question, I wanted to ask, like, you know that I invite people here on the podcast through social media or through email lang, since I'm not really in sports media yet, and I just try to like get to know these athletes and sports personalities on the podcast. And yeah, it's been great. But then I wanted to ask you, who could you suggest that would be a great guest here on the podcast about their, whether about their story or their career or their journey, or just simply talking about anything about sports, not necessarily basketball only or any sport.
I feel like a good person to guess on this show is Sister Seb Sermenta,
Oh yeah,
one of the
I
first.
had him
Oh, you
recently,
had
and
him?
maybe yeah, a
Fun.
couple of months ago. It was great,
Um,
but then yeah.
aside from Coach Seb, Sir Seb, let me think. Hmm. Chris Newsom also is also a good one.
Oh yeah, I haven't had him yet on the podcast.
Yeah, Chris Newsom is gonna be a good one. He's gonna have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and or should it be someone na na I know?
No
No.
naman, anyone. You don't need to know the person. But then yeah, anyone, kahit sino talaga.
Yeah,
I
I
just
feel
like
like
compile it.
si Chris Newsom, si Coach Yang Yao.
Oh yeah, Coach Yang. I haven't had him also on
Yang,
the
you'll get
podcast.
sports, you'll get politics, you'll get
Anything.
life,
Hmm.
and a lot more. So I feel like Coach Yang Yao.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I'd want to have those two guests. I mean, ang haba ng episode for sure. Madami silang makikwento. So yeah, those are great suggestions, Apple. Thank you for that, and also thank you for joining me here in the podcast. I really enjoyed the conversation and learning about what you've done and what you went through and what you will go through in the future. And I appreciate the time that you had in joining the pod. And do you have any final message?
Of course, thank you. Thank you for not giving up on this
Yeah.
invitation. And thank you so much for allowing me to
Mm-mm.
like share my story, share my thoughts about certain things, and allowing me to like hopefully inspire the viewers,
Yeah,
the
for
listeners.
sure.
And yeah, thank you for having me on the DVD show. Thanks, Jagger.
Yeah, thank you, Apple. And before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll take it from here. One, two, three. Okay, thank you so much, Apple, for joining me here in the pod. And yeah, see you soon. Stay safe.
thank you.